They had a new building going up and it was starting 1 bedrooms and it said starting at 700,000.
So here's Josh. Josh is on our team. And Josh, how long were you actually a resident of California before moving here?
Oh man, I was there 14 years.
Okay, and when did you leave California?
I left California in approximately 3 years ago.
There's a lot of reasons we've picked up that people are leaving California. Why were y'all ready to leave?
There was a bunch of reasons. One was basically following her job. Secondly, it was cost of living was literally atrocious, especially where we were at. We were in the Brentwood area and it just got ridiculous.
And that's in LA?
Yeah, that's like right across the 405 from like UCLA.
The 405, it reminds me of the California.
Yeah,
California.
Yeah.
So, real quick, just so the people know, what industry were you in?
I did film and TV for 20 plus years.
Would they recognize you from anywhere?
Yeah.
You in a couple movies?
Yeah, a few different shows and yeah.
What was your biggest movie?
That's so debatable. I mean, budget-wise, probably The Tooth Fairy with Dwayne.
Where would people recognize you from?
Funny enough, I get more notice here in Texas from Greater, which was a Blindside-like picture.
Okay.
True story about a walk-on to the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Cool. So you were in Hollywood, you were living that life.
Yep.
We won't get into the Hollywood lifestyle necessarily, but California itself, what were some of the things that you were excited to get away from?
I mean, the congestion was a big one. Cost of living was another one. The homeless condition started getting really bad.
Which in certain cities here in Texas, it's gotten bad. You know, where we film most of our videos, I would say there's zero homeless issue. But, you know, even in downtown Houston or Austin got terrible.
But that's the first note I would make, actually, when we first got here. We were driving on the highway and we were doing this all the time. There was nothing.
There was nobody.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger patterns, too, that we've picked up on is politically. I think that we've heard from a lot of clients, it's in our Montgomery video, that it's almost a little too one-sided, where if you're on one side of the aisle, you feel politically oppressed, or is it just not apolitical? Did you feel that?
That's a bit of an understatement, especially in the business I was in. It's there's a one side kind of view to things, and you know, it's very difficult to be who you are. And I have seen friends of mine who have come out as to who they are be absolutely destroyed.
And not to get too in the weeds there, but that's a real thing. We've heard it time and time again from real clients. Nobody wants to speak up on it, but if you're watching this and you're quietly like, I feel that, you're not alone.
You are not alone.
You should call us. That's the thing. And so we're going to get to the Texas part, because I think that's what people want to hear. Like, are these problems truly alleviated? Are they really not here? We'll get there in a second. But first, another complaint that we've gotten a lot too, and you'll be there soon, but is complaining about the schools. You know, public schools in California, from talking to clients, they're not even an option, whether it's from violence, whether it's from the actual curriculum or what's being the agendas in the schools. But one of the main things that clients have loved here is that they can send their kids to public schools, don't have to worry about private. I would say this is kind of the last frontier where you're going to see that kind of.
It's basically the best way I can describe it, being there as long as I have and now being here. The raw, rudimentary culture is totally different.
What are you giving up leaving California?
Well, the weather. You have very few rain days and you don't have the humidity. There's also benefits to the humidity I don't hear people talk about. So
what is one of those? Because I was just in California 2 weeks ago and I dried out.
Our number one ways that our bodies detoxify is sweating.
Yeah, well, welcome to Texas.
So
you can spin it that
there's
way.
There's positives.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
What did you? So other than weather, what did you feel like you were giving up?
I mean, the beaches were cool. Having your friends, having that infrastructure.
You mean having friends with cool houses?
Yeah, well, some of them were pretty intense.
So you moved to Portland for a year and a half.
About a year.
Thinking that was going to maybe give you some of the change you were looking for?
Not really. We more just followed
the job.
Her job.
Okay.
So,
but what did you find in Portland? I'm just curious, because we get clients calling from Portland too. So let's touch on it while we're there.
It was different for me because we were right in the heart of Portland, and this was at like the height of the
peak
craziness.
Of COVID and needles on the ground and all
but
that
I
stuff.
mean, like riots.
Oh, okay.
Like, I watched it, dude. It was crazy.
So it's real.
Oh.
So it's not fake.
No, it's very real.
Okay.
I was right there. I saw it.
So you lived through all of that stuff. So now that you're here in Texas, right? Let's talk about some of the things you didn't like about California. Let's compare them to Texas, because I want the people to understand, like, does Texas deliver on this promise? We interview clients that move here, people that we've talked to. I think Texas does a great job of delivering on housing affordability. Did you own in California or no?
No, we didn't.
So you never owned.
No.
Was home ownership even like really something you considered there?
I'll tell you an honest truth. I remember there was an area of Reseda which was considered fairly dangerous. And they had a new building going up, and it was starting 1 bedrooms, and it said starting at $700,000. This was in a dangerous area.
Bad part of town, $700,000 for 1 bedroom.
And this was 7 years ago.
How many square feet's your house here?
Just under 4,000.
And I know you're going through a remodel. 4,000 is a big house.
But yeah,
I'm sharing a general price range that you ended up getting a 4,000 square foot home in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Around 500.
We got low 500. Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty insane.
And one of the more sought after neighborhoods,
in an established
older,
neighborhood.
large lot. Yeah.
What has cost of living been like
Night and day.
coming here? What exactly
Groceries
are people saving on?
What are they not saving?
You said groceries, gas.
Gas is insane. How about I put it this way? Because we can't always think of things right off the top of our head. I can't think of something that's not better.
I guess that's probably the best way to put it. Another huge reason we've had clients call us is because of the taxes. We've got many clients that have called us saying, hey, I'm selling my company and I'm going to have this big old tax day if I stick around in California.
10%.
We want to come to Texas. 10%, that's a lot. So you saw savings there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, drastically. Again, depending what you're blessed to do for a living and how hard you work to get to that place, it's a big chunk.
Yeah. So between less expensive homes, lower cost of living, the one I feel like thing that clients moving here get caught up in, and I want to be transparent about it, is the property taxes here can be higher.
They can, but this is the first thing I try to tell people as well, is it equals out. When you look at all the charges and the pricing you're not paying, you're still saving.
And keep in mind too, even if the tax rates are higher, the appraised values of the home are lower because you're spending $500,000 on a 4,000 square foot home. So it's factored in. The other thing too, I am one of those weird people, like I'm happy at the end of the year when I write one big old check for my house.
Right.
I write a check every year. It's not cheap. It's like $15,000 for my taxes for the year. But I live in one of the nicest neighborhoods.
Yep.
I've got a brand new home. We have fantastic schools. The infrastructure here is great. The roads are great.
Crazy.
The hospitals are great. The police are great.
Yeah.
We have police. Can I say that? We have police. They're funded.
You can.
They're funded, and they actually show up when you call them for disturbances, whatever it is. They're patrolling our neighborhoods.
One thing my wife actually educated me on as well is Houston is one of the number one medical cities really in the country.
And the cool part is, they've got the med center. I had to go down there for a procedure, and it was fantastic. You have access to the best cancer doctors, research doctors in the world,
especially for children.
In fact, a lot of people through our channel reach out to us saying, hey, we've got a medical condition, we're relocating for treatment in Houston. At least where we live on the north side of Houston, there's medical campuses up here too.
All over.
I think a lot of people view Texas as like Western movies and overly conservative.
It's like viewing Canada where I'm from, we're all in igloos. It's no different.
I think that what we've experienced is we've actually had plenty of clients from California relocate that are very vocally, politically on one side or the other. And the cool thing that I've heard is that they both feel like they found their place here in Texas.
The biggest difference is there's not that feeling of like an authoritarian nature. Meaning, if I go to a dinner or something and I accidentally say something that might go against or not completely in line, you're not terrified that you've just ruined your life. It's just a different atmosphere, really. And like you said, it's freer.
Have you had like conservative values necessarily shoved down your throat or been hit in the face with the Trump flag here?
No, not at all.
And I've seen it go both ways, to be fair. But here, I just guess what I want to
just
communicate.
From my experience.
Well, and that could be your experience in California, which is what we're talking about. But here in Texas, you haven't felt it in that experience.
No, neither.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked to a lot of clients about. That was one of the kind of the hidden things, like clients that have been here over a year. I'm like, hey, what's kind of the best thing? And they're like, to be honest, like, I can breathe again.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, you touched on weather, like you're giving that up. Like if I could put San Diego weather here, all the home prices would go through the roof.
Right.
I would no one would ever leave. Like you are taking a hit. We've had clients that move here and go, man, I'm going to be honest, it's hotter than I thought it was. You know, we had a record summer this summer.
These have been record
These
summers
are record
too.
Summers, and who knows if that gets better or worse. But
I always say just go to the lake.
So that's a good point. So we've got Lake Conroe here. We took the family to the beach last weekend. So geographically, there are things to do. I personally I think anywhere you're at, you gotta like find the beauty in it. But there are places that are prettier. Like Lake Tahoe is prettier than here.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
But it's
there
out of
are
a
areas
postcard.
here.
It's not realistic. Like you have
Yeah.
to. It's a give and a take. And so
Yeah.
what we found talking to a lot of clients is that on the macro, the overall picture of their life, these 20 items we're talking about in this video,
Right.
are overall better.
The daily concerns.
What do you
night
mean?
and day.
Like
Everything you've just
cost of
addressed.
living, safety,
Yeah.
school education,
Cost of housing,
medical facilities,
medical.
congestion.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All of those. And it's getting more crowded here, but they are getting ahead of it with infrastructure, and that's one of the things I appreciate. So yeah, you're going to run into infrastructure being built everywhere right now.
Right.
That's a good thing. It means it's being
Well,
built.
it also shows when you purchase here that our market is still strong, even compared to other areas of the country.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's been interesting is I think across the country, I'm very tied into all these real estate networks. I'm talking to literally the top teams in the world.
Right.
And in those conversations with them, their markets are bad.
Yeah.
It's down. And is it what it was 2 years ago here? No. But would I say that this is a bad market to buy in right now? No. If anything, when interest rates come back down, I think that foot's going to be back
It's
on the
gonna go
throttle
crazy.
because people, like when it's bad in California, it's not as bad here.
Well, the difference is bad in California is completely unattainable. It's unaffordable. Whereas here, bad, you can still buy if you want to.
One thing to touch on, because what we saw happen, because I was selling real estate to Californians during COVID.
COVID, okay.
And when COVID hit, were you in California when it hit? Or did you
I
go
had
to Portland?
just left.
So you had just left. Businesses here didn't shut down. The economy here didn't shut down. And there were parts of Houston that did, but out in the suburbs, Montgomery County is arguably the most conservative county in the most conservative state. So it didn't shut down. The judge here was like, we're not shutting down. Well, ultimately, it proved to be great for our economy here. It protected job security. People didn't take as big of a financial hit. It was a more free, open, business-oriented economy. There's a lot of incentives to bring businesses here.
Yep.
And so I think just that fiscally conservative component of Houston alone was a huge draw that kind of started to move the needle. When people started to get told what they can and can't do, what they have to wear on their face, where they can go, that they're not even allowed to work, all of those things started to move people here. Now that's kind of gone back into place, but I think that was a test, right? It was kind of the red flag of, okay, if I stay here for the next 10 years, what's the next thing?
Well, where I was in Portland at the heart of all of it, and Portland was in a lot of ways the heart of it. If you weren't essential, you couldn't do anything. I had a real estate license, couldn't use it.
You couldn't show houses?
Couldn't do anything.
Could you go to the restaurants?
No.
You couldn't even go eat. They were closed?
There was no DMVs open, so any legality with license plates, police couldn't enforce any. It was a different world.
And it was a different world.
It was a totally different world.
We had our daughter in it. But when you were leaving California, where else did you consider? I know you went to Portland first, but when you were leaving Portland?
Well, at that point in time, we were really following that job track.
Okay.
So once we got to a point where we could choose where we were going, which actually was a blessing through COVID, it was Texas or Florida.
Okay.
Those were the only two.
So those were the two, and that's a big, we'll probably do a different video on choosing between the two. But we've seen an influx of people move to Florida, and now we're seeing an influx of people. Prices in Florida went way through the roof.
Right.
They're actually moving here now.
That's right.
Why are you selling real estate here?
I don't think I'm completely done with Hollywood, but there was a point where I just felt like I had to put it on a hiatus. I was really serving it. It was completely what I was, and I had to step back from that. And I talked to a lot of friends. One friend of mine, God rest his soul, ended up not coming out of it. He was a star of Glee, and anyway, it gets the better of you. I walked away and I said, what can I do with the talents I have? And people around me were like, dude, you have to do real estate. Like, you're great with people, you're this, you're that. And at first I was like, no, that's crazy. I wouldn't do that. And then as I let it get in and I started doing it, I found more of a love just learning about investing and appreciating assets versus depreciating assets. Because, my life in Hollywood was like spend on fun stuff and that was it, right? Like, I had no plan, no vision, no future.
So do you have any kind of message to people that are in California having those thoughts? If they're still watching the video at this point, there's something there. What do you have to say to them?
Come check it out, first and foremost.
Yeah.
If you're even thinking about it, take a weekend, come down here, check out the area, give us a call. We will help with that. give you advice on where to check out and things like that. And if you think Texas is for you, we would love to serve you in any way we can.
Absolutely. And we have found through doing this hundreds of times that trip really is kind of that's what moves the needle with people. They
Yes.
can see it. They only need 2 to 3 days. They drive, they explore the area.
Yep.
We're going to keep putting out awesome videos for y'all to check out and really see it visually to get you to book that flight. But really, when you book that trip, you're going to talk to a member of our team. We're going to plan it all out for you, meet you up at the office, set you free to go and explore, and then be with you every step of the way to see if it really is that right fit for you and your family. Because at the end of the day, we have had clients that have come to town and it just isn't right. It's not the right time. Maybe they can't do the weather, or maybe they've got a familial tie to go somewhere else. But what we've seen is like 9 out of 10 times, the grass is greener.
And I've also seen the flip. Yeah. Oh, I don't know about Texas. They get here, they're like, whoa, where do I buy?
That's what I'm saying. The grass is greener. And so check it out for yourself and see if it is the right fit for you and your family. And if you want to know more about the areas, we've got tons of different videos on the Houston area. Maybe go ahead and start with this video right here. This is the top 10 suburbs here in Houston to get familiar with. And like we always say, if you're thinking about moving to Texas, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us a quick email. That way we can help you make a smooth move right here to Houston, Texas.
Awesome.
Cool.